feel like I've forgotten how to do this because it's been so long. Hello and welcome to session 94. My name is Brianna and I am the dyer designer and human behind the Little Wolf Knits and this YouTube channel, and I am so happy to be here with you today on Tuesday, July 8th. I feel like I've forgotten how to do this because it's been so long. And it has been, like I said, so long. It has been 2 weeks since I last chatted with you. I'll talk more about it later, but life got pretty busy. We were traveling last week, and I just couldn't squeeze in an episode to record, so I have lots of stuff to chat about with you. I'm so excited. So let's just jump right in and get started with what I'm wearing. I am wearing an oldie but a goodie. It is not one that I reach for that much because it is a second sample, and you can tell it needs a good block. It is wrinkly. It has been folded for a really long time, so it's got some fold seams along the shoulders, but this is my low tide tee, and I have this version. It's a little bit longer, so I have it tied tight at the waist so it cinches, but I think it's so cute. This is my Michael Likes It colorway from the Cereal collection, and this is actually my laser base, which is a beautiful single ply, and I love it. Love it for garments and tops. I need to just pull it out of my closet realistically and maybe give it a little steam block. Honestly, maybe even air it out. Maybe that will help. But it is so hot here, so that is the only knitted item I'm wearing. I know people are going to ask about my nails. It is an Essie colorway. I don't remember the name. Sorry. But that's the only thing I'm wearing, so let's jump into admin updates. As far as admin, there are a few things I just wanted to remind you of. The Hot Stitch Summer Mal is going strong. We actually have less than a month left. No, we have just about a month left. I think it finishes the first week in August. So there's still time to jump in to join us. If you haven't already, myself and my friend Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy are hosting a mal for all things summer. It's super fun. We're giving away prizes every single week, and I am having a blast. The other important update is that I have a new pattern releasing this week. If you're watching this on Thursday when this is coming out, Friday, July 12th, the C Street dress is releasing. I should grab my finished sample so that you can see it. Let me do that. I have been wearing this so much, so it is a little wrinkly. I've been taking it with me in my suitcase on our vacation and then this past weekend, but so bear with me. But this is the C Street dress. It is based off of the C Street tank, which myself and my friend MC of Blame the Knots released last July, I think, maybe June or July, as a knit and crochet collab, and we're at it again this year with a dress version. So this really cute, kind of sporty, casual top. There's bust, short rows, there's waist shaping, there are hip shaping, and then this version is the shaped bottom. So it has this cool short row, high low sort of shaping that happens here. And these are done in Wicked colorways. This is For Good. This is Two Best Friends. And this is Wicked Through and Through. And you might see these colorways come back soon because I'm getting excited for part 2 of the movie. But anyway, this dress, fully size inclusive, I want to say 28 bust up to a 64 probably in finished sizes, and it could hold a lot of negative ease. I think I made mine with about 6 inches of negative ease. So yeah, really excited. make sure you're on my newsletter if you're not already to be the first to hear about patterns that release. But that is all the admin I have. Let's jump into what I've finished. Okay, it's been a few weeks. I'm a little grumpy with myself because I would have thought I would have finished more, and I could have finished more if I stayed focused, but I haven't, and it's just where we're at. However, one more thing has happened since we last spoke. Tour de Fleece has started. So if you're a spinner, you probably know what this is. If you're not, it is a fun sort of spinning challenge that started many years ago where spinners push themselves to spin as much as they can, or they will set certain goals for themselves to spin new things or a certain project during the time frame of Tour de France. And it started this past Saturday, so I decided to jump in. I'm not doing anything official. I'm not like tracking yardage. I'm not on a team. I am in some group chats, so like chat with friends, but I mostly am just setting my own goals. And from that, I have come up with one finished object. It's the only thing that I finished. It is spinning, and many of you will say, well, that's not finished, Brianna, but I don't care because it's my channel and I make the rules. I have finished spinning a drop spindle. This is the second drop spindle. This is my Bosworth midi, maybe drop spindle. I think it's a midi skinny, maybe. Have it in here, I believe. This is a midi skinny. I was correct. Bird's eye maple. 0.77 ounces, but not anymore because it has about an ounce or two of fiber on here. No, probably an ounce of fiber. It's so heavy, but I finished the first half of this braid of shaniko wool tweed that my friend MC gifted to me. And I have this left because I have already split this into skinnier strips to be more comfortable for myself to spin. And I need to empty this bobbin onto my, I have a spare bobbin, is that what it's called? Storage bobbin for my spinning wheel. And I'm going to use my bobbin winder and wind this onto there. And then I'm going to refill this back up with some of this wool that I have here. But I wanted to share this very full bobbin before I cleared it off and it goes back over to the whip pile. That is the only thing I finished, but it is not the only thing I've been working on. So let's chat about what I've been working on. I had two knit projects that I've been working on. Like I said, I could have finished either of these if I just focused on one of them, but I have focused on both of them. One has been getting more of my love recently because it's so close to being finished, even though it doesn't have a deadline. Just how my brain works. But this is in my Songbird handmade bag, and it smells like the beach and the pool. Like, I don't know if it's suntan lotion. You know when it's just something's been with you in a certain place? And in it, you will see an almost empty bag because I have used all of the minis from my Coast to Coast Advent that I was using. And I do have one more skein and one more tag. This is Spritz, which is a main skein of yarn from the same Advent. Well, look how beautiful it is. Look how fun it is with my nails. But it's so pretty. It has all these layered colors in it. And it is getting pretty used because I am making a solstice engrain using that yarn. So the last time you saw this, I believe I was somewhere over here. I had done less than half of the shawl. And I said, you know, it would be nice if I could finish the minis and maybe I'll take it with me while I travel. But it's not super mindless. I have to kind of pay attention to what I'm doing, and I have multiple minis, so probably won't be my main project. Well, boy, was I wrong, because I ended up working from here through the end of the minis, probably to like here, on the plane while we were traveling down to Curacao with my sister and brother-in-law. And then like the first day in Curacao, I ended up only having one mini left. So I said, let me just finish this. Then it was like, let me finish the mini. Let me join the main skein. Let me work the main skein. And now I have worked this much of the main skein, and I really like what this is doing. I think it's super fun. It's faded into the gold and then into the main skein. So it's sort of a half and half situation. So when it's on, when it's wrapped, when I'm done with it, it will look something like that, which I think is really cool. It'll have the red, it'll have the faded, it'll have the yellow, and it'll have the neutral. So I'm really glad I did this, and I'm all wrapped up. I know that the shawl had no deadline. However, like I said, we're getting to the very end, and I feel like I could finish this in a day or two if I sit and focus on it. So I think that's going to be my plan, to sit and focus on this, and you should see this one done next week. And I don't know, I don't believe I'll use all of this yarn, but hopefully I'll use a good amount of it. I tried weighing things and being mindful with when I got to my halfway point with my minis to make sure that I optimize how much yarn I use without having too much leftovers. Hopefully I don't run out. That would be terrible. I don't think I will, but hopefully I don't have too much left. So that is the one whip that has been getting so much love, but I do have a second whip that got a fair amount of love while I was away. This is in my beautiful sister Heather bag, this little cactus, and inside you will see, oh, here's my, if anyone gets motion sick, this is amazing. All Claire, it is an herbal inhaler, so this side is just a little inhaler, and then the bottom is a dabber, what's that called, for essential oils, so you can rub it on or put it on your neck. And I take these with me everywhere. They're in every car. They were in my travel bag. I don't go anywhere without those. I get very car sick, motion sick, so that is perfect. But in here, you will see I have 2 skeins of yarn. One has not been touched yet, and it is a skein of Marina Grande on Sunfish. Oh, this is so fun with my nails. Honestly, this nail color was a little bright for me and not what I'm used to, but now when I'm putting it with things, I'm like, ooh, it's really fun. So beautiful blues, greens, yellows, tans, speckles, and this is becoming a second sample of my C Street dress. Yes, you heard me right, a second sample. I have a progress keeper on here, but I'm actually going to take it off and switch it out for something else that I have right here. I have part of my Italia collection, which is still available, this little Pomodoro progress keeper. How cute is it? And I'm going to throw it onto my Italy, it's so cute, onto my Italy project, little Italian Pomodoro. Oh my God, it's so lightweight, it's so fun. But like I said, this is a second sample of my C Street dress. So right now, it just looks like a tank top. I am working on the waist shaping. I finished the bust short rows, and I'm now doing waist decreases. My plan will be, what I think I'm going to do, finish up this skein of yarn, which should get me pretty far. It should get me through the hips. And then I will use this skein. They were dyed together. They look pretty. You cannot tell them apart. I'll use this skein. I'll do the edging around the neck and the armholes, and then I will use the rest of the yarn. I'm planning on making this different from this first sample in 2 ways. I want it to be shorter, like above the knee, and I want it to end with the ribbing instead of the short row shaping like this longer version. That's pretty much floor length for me. So really excited. I love how this is pooling and how it's changing as I am doing the decreases. So this is such a quick project. I probably could have finished this in 2 weeks. It is languishing because I worked on it so little. So I did the back panel in one day and the front panel the next day. And then I think the third day I did my inches of straight knitting, my shirt row shaping, and then I started the waist decreases. I've worked a little bit more on the decreases on the plane. I was hopping back and forth between the two projects, but that ended up getting the majority of my attention. So once I'm done with that shawl, this C Street will be full speed ahead, and I plan to finish this. I won't say by the next week because I'm going to finish that by the next week. This should be finished in 2 weeks, probably before then, hopefully before then. And then I have lots of other things to make, so we'll talk about that next time. The other whips that I have are all spinning whips, and you already saw one of them. I have my Shaniko wool tweed on my Bosworth drop spindle. And the other thing I have is on my Hansen wheel, and it's set up and it's perfect, and I don't want to move it because then I have to readjust things. So instead, I figured I would show you the fiber that I'm using. So this is going to go with my, I think actually, oh no, it's down, oh, it's over there. That 3-ply green yarn that I chain plied from Akara Yarns. That will be one yarn. This is going to be another yarn. I'm going to use them together as a 2-color brioche project for Michael. This is the braid of yarn. This is actually a third of the braid from my friends Kat and Penny at Cesium Yarn. This was the main skein for their solstice. I think it was last October. It was a Scooby-Doo inspired solstice, and this is a mystery machine, if you couldn't tell. And what I've done, I've taken the 4 ounces or so, and I split it into 3 mini little braids like this, and I'm going to ply them all separately and spin them together as a 3-ply. I'm doing a fractal, so the first ply I'm spinning right now, I started last night. I'm just spinning end to end, fully across the braid. This one, I will probably split in half and do that. And then the last one, maybe I'll split it into thirds. That will be so quick to fly through. And then I'm gonna apply all 3 of those together, and it should be a really fun color changing, melting yarn that will look so good in a brioche project. I think a Harlow hat. So really excited for that one. And Tour de Fleece is definitely lighting a fire under my butt. But that's all that I'm working on. If that wasn't enough, I usually work on one project at a time. So the fact that I have 2 knitting projects I'm actively working on, 2 spinning projects I'm actively spinning on is a lot for me. But it feels good, so I'm rolling with it. But since that's all that I'm working on, let's chat about what's in the shop. It is a new month, which means new things are in the shop, especially since the last time we spoke. It is July. The first thing that has switched over is our July series of unfortunate events yarn club, series of unfortunate yarn, and our July colorway is a new one. It's really good. We finished up Urzette's elevator. It's all dyed. And now July is the Vile Village. Oh, it's so good. You could see these steely blues are yellow. This sagey green blends so nicely from last month's colorway. And then we have lots of navy speckles for all of the... If you look in the book cover, the ravens are actually black and navy, and I think that is the perfect depiction. So I'm so happy with this colorway. I love the way this is fading. Can you tell I have a vibe today? Blues and greens and tans and yellows. But the Vile Village is available now. If you have not grabbed it, if you're not a subscriber to the club, make sure to go ahead and add yours. If you are a subscriber, you should have received an invoice in your email for me, so make sure to check out to secure your club. The other things that are in the shop, it is July. We are 8 days into opening our July Island Girl Moana inspired countdown. It has been so fun to do that. It has been so fun to see people open up the fiber and spin along. However, it's not too late to join us. We do have one more 15-day countdown, which is actually from day 16 to 30. So if you want to hop in, go ahead and grab that right now. I don't even know if it's still available. And we have 3 more 30-day clubs that are still available in the shop. I'm not working with mine right now. It's really not the end of the world if you don't open them along with everyone else. It's kind of a fun way to treat yourself. I know there are some people who didn't have the funds when these shipped out originally, or have a birthday in the fall, and this could be a really fun way to treat yourself, especially if you like the blues and pinks and purple sort of tropical jewel tone vibes rather than some of the colorways we might see in our October countdown, which I'll talk about in a second. These are really great, so feel free to grab those if you want. When they're gone, they're gone. They're all one of a kind, so don't miss out. The single skein is also still available for you to grab. I already mentioned our October countdown. Our Beetlejuice countdown is live and in the shop. It haven't started to dye it yet, but I'm really excited about that one. And I actually will be dyeing it come August. So there's only a few more weeks to grab that one before that leaves for the time being. I think I'm going to do a fiber countdown again since I did that last year, and that could be kind of fun. Our last countdown that's in the shop is our December Schitt's Creek inspired countdown. It's our super shitty December countdown. Those will be up for a little bit yet before I have to start dyeing them, but y'all are already grabbing them, and I'm so excited. There's a 15-day, a 30-day fingering weight yarn, DK weight yarn, or fiber option, and then, of course, our day box, which you can get with or without gifts if you're just adding it on to another box. Those are all the countdowns that we have in the shop. I know last time we spoke, our Summer Vacation Italia collection launched, and that was such a successful launch. Thank you all so much for that. I am still waiting for some pre-orders to trickle in before I'm going to start dyeing those. And then they will start going out by the end of this month, beginning of August, and you should see orders come through mid-August, probably the latest. So there's still time to grab your yarn from the Italia collection. The way I do pre-orders, I will launch in the beginning. I will start dyeing yarn on a rolling basis. The yarn will be available for a few months, for the next month or two before we switch things over in, say, late August. So yeah, grab any of your Italia yarn or fiber. A few of you have been sneaking in fiber, and I'm really excited about that. So yeah, don't hesitate to grab any of that while you can. I think that's all that I wanted to talk about as far as what's in the shop. I already mentioned our Pomodoro Progress Keeper. I will just say we also have our Limone, our Lemon Progress Keeper as part of the Italia collection. That's so cute. So yeah, don't hesitate to add those onto your order if you're grabbing one. And that's all I got. So let's just chat for a few minutes about life. Life has been quite full the past 2 weeks, and we haven't been too busy because we were actually on vacation. Oh, it was so nice. We went to Curacao, which is way down by Venezuela next to Aruba. And Michael and I went for our second wedding anniversary with my sister and her husband for their 10th anniversary. So it was just a really fun time. We love going away with couples. We made some awesome friends. We played a lot of games. We taught Nikki and Willie, are my sister and brother-in-law. We taught them how to play Unstable Unicorns, which they loved. We also introduced them to Play 9, which was a little iffy for them. But it was just really, really nice to spend time together, to play games, to sit by the pool, to read. I got a lot of reading in, relaxing in, and it was a definitely much needed vacation. We launched our Italia collection while I was there, so that was cool. I was doing some work while I was there, but it was really nice to have some time away from the dye studio, away from the obligations of the rest of my work, and just get to focus on the knitting, designing, launching a collection side of things. Definitely a nice treat. But we did get back last Tuesday, quite late, like after midnight, technically Wednesday morning, jumped right back into work. We worked Wednesday and Thursday, and then it was a 4th of July weekend here in the US, so we drove down the shore and hung out at the beach for the weekend, and it was so beautiful to be at my beach where I love. It's my happy place, so it was really nice, a really fun weekend. Michael got a little sick on our travels home. He actually thinks it was from snorkeling. We did some excursions in Curacao, which were really fun. We did a e-bike tour of the downtown area. Got to see Punda and Wilhelm Street. I don't know what that's called. It's like the famous Curacao Dutch-inspired like buildings downtown by the swing bridge. It's really cool. Then we did an excursion that was to the Hato Caves, to National Park that was nearby, and then we swam with sea turtles, which was really fun. We went to lunch. Michael and Willie jumped off a cliff. I took my bathing suit off already, and I really regretted it because it seemed like so much fun. And then the next day we went snorkeling. So we were so busy, but there was a little mishap on our snorkel trip where there weren't enough snorkels and life jackets on the boat. So we had to meet another boat, and they just took snorkels from their boat, like from the mouths of people who had just been using them, and gave them to us. There was no sanitizer. There was no disinfectant. And you know what? That might be what happens every time, but we just don't see it. But having seen it, we were like, oh no. So Michael thinks he got one of those masks, and he thinks he got sick from that. So he was nursing himself back to health. I was nursing him back to health, and he's feeling much better now. I finished reading a book called Mrs. Saint and the Defectives, and it was cute. It's just not my genre, so it took me a really long time to get through, even though it was only like 8 hours of reading. It took me most of our trip. I honestly thought I'd be reading like a book a day, and that book just dragged for me. It was cute. If you like that genre, it was kind of like a grumpy, smiley neighbor situation. It was a good book. It just is not my jam. Then I ended up reading in one day, on our last day there, a book called Please Tell Me by Mike Omar, and it was very good. I loved it. We got home, and I actually had a Kindle First Read from a really long time ago, The Butterfly Garden, and I read that. It was very good. I learned it's part of a collection, so I probably will read the other books, or at least look into. I'm thinking the other books hopefully are like following different girls. I don't know. I'm curious to see, but I'm definitely going to check them out. However, I started our book club book so that I wasn't behind, because I'm usually like rushing to finish it the last day before book club. It is The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hildebrand, and I'm really excited. My plan is to read it. I don't know if I'm going to go to book club first and then watch the show, or watch the show and go to book club. I'm going to see what other people are doing first, and maybe do that along with them. And I think that's all that I've been reading. I watched a few things while we were traveling mostly. I watched the second season of the DCC, Dallas Cowboy Cheerleader Show. Very good, quite different from the first season, rightly so, but I really enjoyed that. And then I watched like four of the Trainwreck series. So I watched Trainwreck Poop Cruise. I watched the Mayor of Mayhem or whatever the Mayor of Toronto was. I watched the American Apparel one. And then I watched the Astroworld one, which was really hard to watch. They were very good. I plan on watching the other train wrecks. Michael and I are so excited to get back to watching our shows. We just finished season 1 of Succession, and I cannot believe we didn't jump right into season 2. But there are also so many movies for us to watch. So we're planning to go see Jurassic World today and another movie potentially at the end of this week. But then we need to see F1. We need to see 28 Years Later. Potentially Megan 2.0. By then, I Know What You Did Last Summer. A few other movies should be coming out. So this is like crazy busy movie season, and we are so excited. Otherwise, things are moving along with the house. We have broken ground, which is super exciting. And now just, doing house things that you do when you're building. What else is going on? I think that's really the main stuff. Mom is doing well. She's heading back to work. Rocco's doing well. I think his teeth are bothering him, but his leg and back issue has resolved itself. So that's all really exciting. And yeah, we're just excited for it to be summer and to be hanging out and doing all the summer things, and getting lots and lots of spinning and knitting done. So I hope you are getting all of your favorite things done. I hope you're baking or gardening or knitting, crocheting, reading, everything that you want to be doing. And until next time, take care of each other. Bye.